The title alone carries a heavy weight. Send for the devil sounds like a warning, but it also feels like a decision made in desperation. When people reach a place where they have no options left, they don't always choose what is right, they choose what is necessary. And that's exactly the kind of tension this episode is building. You can sense it in every frame of the promo. There's a quiet fear in the air, like something terrible is already on its way, and no one can stop it. It's not loud or dramatic at first, it's slow, steady, and much more dangerous because of that. The characters seem to understand that whatever happens next will not only affect them, but everyone around them. What makes this even more intense is how personal it feels. This isn't just about war or outside enemies anymore. It feels like the real danger is coming from within, from choices, from secrets, from moments where people are pushed too far. When someone decides to send for the devil, it suggests they are willing to deal with something dark, something risky, something they once feared. And that tells us just how desperate things have become. No one calls for darkness unless they believe it's the only way left to survive. There's also a strong feeling that this episode will test relationships in a way we haven't seen before. Trust, which once held everything together, now feels fragile. One wrong move, one hidden truth, and everything could break apart. The promo hints at distance between characters, not just physical distance, but emotional distance too. It's like they're standing close, but thinking very different things. And that kind of gap is often where the worst decisions are made. When people stop understanding each other, they start making choices alone, and those choices can have serious consequences. At the same time, the idea of fate plays a big role here. It almost feels like events have been building toward this exact moment for a long time. Every past decision, every small mistake, every act of love or sacrifice, it all leads here. And now, the characters are facing the results of everything they've done. There's no escaping it anymore. The past is catching up, and it's not coming quietly. It's coming with force, with emotion, and with consequences that can't be undone. What stands out the most is the emotional pressure. You can feel that something is weighing heavily on everyone. It's not just about survival anymore, it's about what they are willing to become in order to survive. That's the real question this episode seems to ask. How far can someone go before they lose themselves completely? And once they cross that line, can they ever come back? The title keeps echoing in the background like a warning that no one wants to listen to. Because deep down, they all know what it means. Calling for the devil doesn't solve problems, it creates new ones, bigger ones, more dangerous ones. But when fear takes over, logic fades away. And that's when people make the choices they regret the most. This episode feels like the beginning of something darker, not just in terms of story, but in terms of emotion. It's where hope starts to feel uncertain, where right and wrong are no longer clear, and where every decision carries a cost. And once that cost is paid, there's no getting it back. The meaning behind Send for the Devil feels deeper the more you sit with it. Because it doesn't point to just one thing, it opens the door to many possibilities. And all of them are dangerous in their own way. In Outlander, titles are never random, and this one feels like a direct message about a decision that crosses a moral line. It suggests that someone is no longer trying to avoid darkness. They are choosing to face it, or even use it. And that shift alone changes the tone of everything. It tells us that the story is moving into a place where survival may matter more than honor, and where doing the right thing may no longer be an option. One way to look at the devil is as a person someone feared, powerful, and unpredictable. This could be an enemy who has been kept at a distance until now, someone whose return could bring chaos. If that's the case, then sending for the devil means inviting danger in on purpose. It's not an accident, not a mistake, but a calculated risk. That kind of move only happens when the situation is already out of control. It shows that whoever makes this call believes they have nothing left to lose, or at least nothing left worth protecting, in the same way. And that kind of mindset can lead to outcomes that no one is prepared for. But the devil doesn't have to be a person. It could be a choice, a dark path that a character has been trying to avoid for a long time. Sometimes the real danger isn't who you face, but what you become. When someone reaches a point where they are willing to step into that darkness, it often means they've been pushed beyond their limits. Every warning sign has been ignored, every safer option has failed, and now only the risky path remains. That's what gives this title its emotional weight. It's not just about action, it's about transformation. And not the kind that feels heroic, but the kind that leaves scars. There's also the idea that the devil represents consequences, not something new, but something already set in motion. In that sense, sending for the devil could mean accepting that the outcome can no longer be avoided. It's like opening a door that has been shaking for a while, knowing full well what's waiting on the other side. The characters may not want what's coming, but they understand that it's time to face it. And that kind of acceptance can be just as powerful as any action. It shows growth, but it also shows the loss of hope that things could have ended differently. Another layer to this title is the emotional conflict it brings. Calling for something dark usually comes with a price, and that price is often personal. It can break trust, damage relationships, and create distance between people who once stood together. If one character decides to take this step, it could affect everyone around them. Others may not agree, may not understand, and that can lead to tension that feels just as dangerous as any outside threat. The real damage might not come from the devil itself, but from the way people react to the decision. What makes this even more intense is how quiet the decision might be. It doesn't have to be loud or dramatic. Sometimes the most powerful choices are made in silence, in a single moment where someone decides they can't keep going the way they have been. That quiet shift is what makes everything that follows feel heavier. Because once the choice is made, there's no way to take it back. The story moves forward, and the consequences follow right behind. In the end, the title feels like a warning that is both clear and ignored at the same time. Everyone understands that calling for the devil is dangerous, but someone is going to do it anyway, not because they want to, but because they believe they have to. And that belief that there is no other way is what makes this moment so powerful and so tragic. The promo itself moves in a way that feels quiet on the surface, but every frame carries tension underneath, like something is building that no one can stop. In Outlander Season 8, Episode 5, the visuals don't just show events, they suggest emotions, choices, and consequences without saying too much directly. The first moments feel slow, almost still, with characters shown in silence or in short, broken pieces of movement. That stillness is important because it creates a sense that everyone is thinking, weighing something heavy, trying to decide what to do next. It's not calm, it's the kind of quiet that comes right before something changes. There are glimpses of faces that look tense, eyes that seem unsure, and small actions that feel loaded with meaning. A look held for too long, a hand that doesn't reach out, a pause in speech. These are the details that suggest something is wrong beneath the surface. It feels like communication is breaking down. People are no longer saying everything they think, and that gap between truth and silence is where danger starts to grow. The promo doesn't need long dialogue to show this. It uses these short, sharp moments to hint that trust is slipping, and once that happens, every decision becomes more risky. The use of darker lighting and shadow adds another layer to this feeling. Scenes appear dim, not fully clear, almost like the truth itself is hidden. This isn't just about style, it reflects what the characters are going through. When things are uncertain, when choices are unclear, everything feels darker. Even familiar places seem different, less safe than before. The promo uses this visual tone to show that the world of the story is shifting. What once felt stable now feels fragile, like it could fall apart at any moment. There are also quick flashes of movement that suggest action, but they are never fully shown. It could be conflict, escape, or confrontation, but the promo holds back just enough to keep it unclear. This creates a sense of tension because the audience is left to fill in the gaps. You see enough to know something serious is happening, but not enough to feel comfortable about it. That lack of clarity is powerful because it mirrors the character's own uncertainty. They don't fully know what's coming either, and